One, two, three, four! Greetings, this is Tom with Buncombe Shinola. Welcome to our series, Humming a Sickening Tune, where we shall be reviewing every single Ramones song in order alphabetically. Today we will be discussing All the Way from End of the Century. All the Way is one of the only songs in the Ramones catalog whose title does not figure into the lyrics of the track. So what exactly does All the Way mean? About to star in their own Roger Corman-produced feature film, and embarking on a major recording project with veteran producer Phil Spector, did they dare hope their time had finally arrived to go all the way to the top of success? Or did they envision a future where they might go all the way the entirety of their career without truly achieving it? The pessimistic lyrics would seem to lean towards the latter. With bubbles about to burst in the doomsday of 1981, the band sounds ill-equipped to face even the end of the decade, much less the end of the century. The song commences with an out-of-the-ordinary, mid-tempo hard rock march intro, but this quickly gives way to the LP's only 1, 2, 3, 4, which would seem to indicate that at least for this track, it will be the band's fundamentals and not Spector's excesses, which we'll be calling the shots. Playing to their strengths, the band mostly moves around familiar changes in 1-4-5. But interestingly, at the end of each verse, they employ a 2-5-1 turnaround, a melodic device which appears regularly in country, folk, even blues and jazz, and their utilization of it unthinkingly and probably unintentionally connects the band to the sturdy traditions of their music's roots. This move features on the earlier Blitzkrieg Bop, which we will discuss later in more depth. They also employ another early favorite device, with Johnny starting in a low register and climbing up through the changes, while Dee Dee begins up high and swoops down simultaneously, which causes an effect of an uneasy center where only the blinding precision of their playing maintains focus. And it must be said that the still relatively new band member Marky propels this track very admirably. They lyrically engage in another well-worn habit, imbuing a seemingly cartoonish word salad with pertinent autobiographical details. Hearing life on the road equated with a stint in the armed forces surely evokes military school dropout Johnny's authoritarian grasp over the band, and it is impossible to hear an allusion to a stint in the sanitarium without conjuring images of Joey's adolescence. But probable lyricist Dee Dee captures the grimmest prediction of them all. I'm never going to live to get old. Unfortunately, resonant not only for him, but the entire original lineup. All of this camouflaged in a seemingly semi-standard set of prose about touring drudgery, a topic it shares with another end-of-the-century highlight, Danny Says. Later in their career, attempting to appear more appreciative, the band would tackle this subject in songs like It's Gonna Be Alright, Touring, and the little-known gem, Perfect Day. But the connected songwriting always came off as a bit forced, somewhat unconvincing, a smidge contrived, failing to hourly convey the celebration somehow. Whereas earlier on this album, where they were more upfront and honest about their weariness, the frustrations were coupled with music, on one hand with Danny Says, which ironically achieved an unprecedented majestic transcendence, and on the other hand here with All the Way, which unexpectedly captured and encapsulated and exemplified all the way their pure accelerated sonic exhilaration. What do I like least about this track? Well, this is a Phil Spector record, with horn sections and orchestrations. And yes, later in their career, the Ramones might sully tracks with dubious synthesizers and keyboards. But it must be said, the noodly, whittly guitar overdubs on this and other tracks, likely supplied by Spector's standard session guitarist sidemen, the Kessel brothers, represents some of the most aesthetically out-of-character production flourishes on any of the band's records. And it's certainly the most galling example which is actually played on a guitar. And what do I like best about this track? Well, on top of everything else I've discussed about this underappreciated gem, the lyric, this litany, list of touring grievances, takes time out to name drop the Ramones' real-life, beleaguered tour manager, Monty Melnick. One of the only members of the Ramones' peripheral circle to be honored in such a fashion, a fact which was not lost on him even in recent interviews. I mean, this dude was a behind-the-scenes hero. He was around for the band's inception all the way to the end of their careers. So let's wrap up this review by simply stating, yes, Melnick's. If you have not read his book, On the Road with the Ramones, yet, get to that quick, because it is the best book about the Ramones that has been written and probably ever will be written. Hey, this is Tom with Buncombe Shinola. Thanks for checking out the clip. I was hoping to avoid copyright strikes, so I hope you like my playing. But if you'd like to hear the original track, I will put up a link in the description. Please let me know what you think of All the Way down in the comments. Next up on Humming a Sickening Tune, All's Quiet on the Eastern Front from Pleasant Dreams.